Hey everyone, welcome back to another book preview video. Let me get this straight open. I'm pretty excited about this one, if it is actually what I think it is in here. So this is actually one that I backed on Kickstarter quite a while ago. For anyone who's ever backed anything on Kickstarter, you'll know it does take a little while to come through. So it's actually more than one book, but one of them is the new one. Let's see if I can actually remember which is which. So we've got 100 famous artists, 21 draw. They're all from 21 draw. Character designer. This is the new one that we're going to be looking at, but I'll just quickly show the others as well. So we have Learn the Fundamentals of Illustration. So this is the Illustrators guidebook. Again, it's not new. I actually might make a video on this, previewing this at some point soon. So this second one just says Learn from 100 famous artists. And then the new one, the character designer. So we'll take a look at this one. A quick note, this character design one is hardback and these two are softcover. And you can see they are all slightly different size if I can fit them in on shot there. So now that I've moved that out of the way, let's take a quick look at the cover. You've already seen the front. And that's the back. So let's get straight into this. So as always, I'm going to leave this open for a second just so that you can pause the video if you do want to see this. I know the lighting is a little bit strong as usual. It's just because the pages are so glossy that it's quite difficult to record well. So I am just going to babble on whilst we preview some of the pages in this book. Normally I have quite a good idea of what I want to talk about during these videos. I try to give credit where I can to the artists and talk about what the book is actually about. Now, obviously this one is about designing characters, but it's been such a long time since I actually ordered this book. I ordered it last year along with the other two, that I cannot actually remember too much about it. I have actually looked at the ebook version of this already, and that's because for the Kickstarter backers, or the people that funded this, such as myself on Kickstarter, you actually got access to the ebook version of this earlier than the main book. Which makes sense because obviously there's not as much production time for things like that. And one thing I did notice is this particular illustration is by an artist I follow on Instagram. I think he's called Rene. Well, in fact, you know what? I'll put the link, I'll put his name in the description box below because I'll mess it up. But he's awesome. And I'm sure that the other artists in this book are very good as well, but I'm not as familiar with all of them. There's just the odd one that I recognise from coincidentally following them. You probably saw the way that this is broken down into if you stayed on the contents page, if you paused it there. I did not pause there, so I don't even know what it is that we're going through at the moment. But it's looking like it's got some pretty interesting sections such as colour. Again, I recognise this artist. A lot of you will know her. I'm terrible at saying names, but I think she's known as Loish, maybe? You know what? I might regret saying that because I might have it really wrong. Once it's in a video, you can't go back. And again, I remember looking at this one, skimming through it in the ebook and thinking there was some quite interesting techniques for working with colour and gradients and things like that on this illustration. So it's definitely going to have some good tips in this book regardless. It's actually a little bit smaller than the other books, as you might have seen at the beginning. Squash and stretch. So this to me reminds me of a bit of an animation principles book. For any of you who have ever done any animating, a lot of this is, the things you learn in animation. So that's obviously going to then convert into characters and character design. I think it's definitely going to be a case of there's a lot of different styles in this book. It's going to be a lot of things in here you probably would find you like, but then there's probably some things in here that some people might not like. So for example, with me, some of the styles in here, I know for a fact I like already. Some of the more cartoony ones, probably not as much my style, but it's quite good in a sense to see them because I wouldn't normally look for them with them not being my typical style. This one's a little bit more realistic and pretty badass, to be honest, because I've seen the finished illustration. I can't imagine actually being able to draw something like that. It just looks so detailed to me. It's crazy good. But yeah, as I was saying, there's some sort of styles that I wouldn't normally look for, especially the cartoony ones, the sort of simple cartoons. But because I bought this book, I do get to read through the process, and you see there's a lot more going on than I would probably normally expect. And it's just good to, I guess, broaden your horizon when it comes to art. Step outside your comfort zone and learn from other artists, and it all translates over. Plus there are genuinely some really cool designs in all of the styles. I remember seeing some of these before the book came out. If any of you follow 21 Draw on Instagram, then I know they posted previews of these before they released the books. So there's a bit here on drawing caricatures. That's something I'm actually quite interested in. Personally, it's not something I've ever actually tried, but I always think it would be really cool to learn and just quite useful. I feel like some of the skills of emphasizing features would probably translate over, but at the moment I don't have any experience with that. I mentioned earlier about the artists within the book and me messing up the names and things like that, so I might actually just show these pages on camera. There's actually a pirate similar to this on the 21 Draw website on the videos, so I have a feeling that that might be the same artist that's made those. So this is the artist that I mentioned that I'm quite a big fan of. I see him post a lot of pin-ups, and I do like pin-up illustrations, so maybe that's why I like him so much. And Loish, the one with the colour that we looked at earlier. I'll try and show all the artists. I normally skip some pages. I know I follow this guy on YouTube too. He's really cool. I'm sure all of the artists in here are great. I just don't know them all too well. Anyway, guys, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm looking forward to actually sitting down and reading this properly. And I am going to try and preview these books on videos soon as well, because I think some of these are going to be really cool. As far as I'm aware, you can buy all these on the 21 Draw website, even if you didn't get on board during the Kickstarter campaign. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, everyone.